Encore Nation and to the first Encore Career Summit here in Massachusetts. Discovering What's Next helps people navigate midlife transitions through peer-to-peer programs, services, and networks that provide information, inspiration, and involvement. And this summit represents the official launch of our Discover Encore. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Ellen Goodman.
We also belong to the generation who have been the change agents of our culture throughout our lives. We led the civil rights movement, we led the women's movement, we led the gay rights movement. We are the pro-change generation. And of course, for better or worse, we have a history of leading examined lives. In fact, I assure you there are many people in our country, particularly younger ones, who wish we would stop examining our lives. Well, all of these revolutions have been personal and political. And it is no surprise that if we have one more revolution left in us, it's because it's going to be around age, around redefining age in society. We will redefine it together through how we live it. Let's be clear about the importance of reframing age in this longevity revolution and redefining senior citizenship. Because in the face of longevity, there is a pretty unattractive alternative to what you're all thinking about. Indeed, there is a constituency of older Americans who may view the expanded lifespan with fear and who may go into a long, narrow, protective crouch against anxiety, against fear, and against loss. At this moment, we are our own mentors. The problem and the gift of longevity will be solved by the people who name it and wrestle with it and who invent age, reinvent age.
At the workshops, there will be individuals who are involved in their encore careers who will be telling their story, and you'll have a chance to interact with them.
I turned 60 this summer, and I have never felt so excited about my life. What is beautiful about it is the fact that it is a time for possibility. It is a time for imagination. It is a time never, ever to give up on our dreams.
Things changed. Where I was working, the people who had hired me and admired my work, they moved on. They became older, they retired. The new people had different directions, different goals. I changed too.
And subsequent to 9/11, my wife convinced me that it was a good time to retire. And I think that coincided with the fact that I was laid off. And so I decided, okay, I can do this. And I had no clue what I was going to do.
Life does go on, first of all, I can assure you that.
I spent the last 2 years after retirement resting, but I miss it.
And this conference has been very helpful in kind of encouraging that. Keep your eye open. Opportunities come up that you hadn't expected or fields that didn't exist 10 years ago.
I want to thank Discovering What's Next for inviting me here. And I've been here since early this morning. I'm ready for a nap. That my goal is to die young, at the oldest age possible. And I think every one of us shares that in this room. We want to stay young, way into our old age. So if we can hold on for a little while longer, it's going to turn out that not only are we going to be able to find jobs, everybody in this country is going to be desperate to give us one. So I want to show you why. To think about the kind of the pig and the python moving through. Between 1946, I was born in 44, But between 1946 and 64, the famous baby boom generation, our parents had 20 million more kids than we'd have under normal fertility rates. And if you remember growing up then, I was growing up in Brooklyn, New York, and then Detroit, we converted the entire American economy around children, right? The iconic Disneyland in California, followed by Disney World. Moving to the suburbs, not only because we wanted to have our own house, we wanted a jungle gym in the backyard. Romper Room, the Mickey Mouse Club, right? We can still sing those songs, right? M-I-C, right? You know, they're even in tune? Unbelievable. This is dying at the oldest age possible done in music. So we know that. Now that whole generation is moving through. Coming behind it was actually a baby bust generation. That's these red bars. And they are, very interestingly, what labor economists like myself call prime age workers, 35 to 54. There are going to be fewer of them. And the real question is, who's going to do the work, right? And who's going to pay the taxes? We're going to have to create entirely new kinds of jobs. Adjunct teachers, mentors, tutors, content advisors, project coordinators, community health workers, chronic illness coaches, medication coaches, patient advocates. So we're not only going to have to make jobs more flexible and change them so they fit our needs, we're not only going to have to retrain ourselves to take some of those jobs, but there's going to be a whole bevy of new jobs, some of which we can't even imagine today.
Civic Ventures and the Encore Careers campaign is here to help that happen, but then the main message, I think, is to take advantage of every opportunity you can with Discovering What's Next, because it is one of the biggest and best models of this sort of effort going on in the country.